Hi, today I'm chatting with Cristina Huesch, who's the Director and Principal Lawyer at Alliance Family Law in Canberra. And Cristina is as passionate as we are at Balance about helping our clients sort their separation without going to court and without all the nastiness. And Cristina and I have been, working together on a matter together using a process called collaborative law. And the collaborative law process allows clients and their lawyers to work together as a team to help them reach agreement about parenting, property, child support, just about anything to do following with matters that arise following their separation.
Well, I would describe it as a process that really lets the client be in charge of what the lawyers are going to be talking about. It puts a bit of power back in their hands. It's a process where I suppose they get to say, look, this is what's important to us. It may not necessarily be listed in the Family Law Act. It might be that there's no precedent history of other strange families that says this and that is important, but these things are important to us, and we then put them at the forefront of what we're going to discuss. So I feel as a lawyer that I'm really enabling and facilitating the clients to get an outcome that is about their needs and their wishes and what's important to them. That's how I see it first and foremost.
Absolutely. I've certainly found that in sort of that. In the traditional space, the way I was trained as a junior lawyer, we were told, emotions, feelings, that's irrelevant. It's the law that matters. It's the facts that matter. But in practice, that very rarely works, I find. And if you don't resolve those issues, if you don't look at what's causing people to be upset and emotional, then those issues manifest elsewhere and you see the cycle of conflict continue.
Definitely the litigation model is extremely slow, and that's where I think the collaborative process is a lot faster. So in my experience, I've been probably doing matters for about 17 years, and like you, I started where it was very traditionally, this is just what happens, this is the process, you end up in court, and then you're sort of on a train track to a destination that, the clients might not be particularly choosing that destination, which is a hearing in front of a judge, but it's quite hard to get off that track once you're on it. So the differences are, I suppose, the lack of control over the process in litigation versus collaboration, the very long timeframes in litigation, and the fact that the parties can't themselves set the timeframe. So in collaboration, what I like is that the parties can say, look, let's meet really urgently and talk about these two super urgent things, and then I want to have 6 months of therapy before I'm ready to talk about something else. And, the team says, well, that's a really good idea, in order for you to conclude things and have a really good outcome that's win-win. Yes, if you feel you need therapy, we'll accommodate that. Let's all see you in 6 months. And in court, you just don't have that option, not to that degree.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference. The other thing is, I suppose, as lawyers in collaboration, we're sort of supporting the client, telling us what is important to them and what they're trying to achieve. And in traditional law, I feel we're sort of telling the client what the law is, and we're advising them and saying, you should do this, you should do that. And for a lot of people, they're already feeling a bit powerless, like their marriage is broken down, they're not seeing their kids the way they want to see them. And then to be sort of, I don't know, it's a bit of a parent-child relationship, or it can be, the lawyers are saying, I'm advising you, do this, you must do this, it's good for your case if you do this, it's bad for your case if you do that. And it doesn't really allow the client to be heard, and emotions don't really come into it. So a lot of people feel they're just a little sausage in a sausage factory.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Pretty much every client, other than if you're married to someone or we're in a relationship with someone who absolutely cannot ever see things from another point of view or is extremely rigid, that is going to make collaboration probably not work as well for the other party. And I've had a few where it's sort of my way or the highway, and the collaborative process has been used to sort of exploit a bit of a power imbalance. And for those clients, I would probably steer my client away from that sort of a matter. But for everyone else, it's suitable whether you're unable to talk to each other, dislike each other intensely. It can still work because, it's always better than going to court. And, you don't have to be super good friends. You don't have to be super amicable. It can still work even if you have difficulties, because I suppose you're in a room, you're supported by lawyers, and some models of collaboration will have a neutral psychologist in the room to help have the difficult conversations and get over the hump. So even if you think, oh, this is never going to work for me and my ex because we have such difficulties communicating, the process can be re-engineered for your case to let those communication problems be dealt with. So there are very few people who it wouldn't work with, and I think the sort of any power imbalance or rigid thinking sort of people is probably not suitable for.
Yeah, absolutely. I've also found that when I first meet a client in that first meeting or even that first phone call, I'm always assessing whether it will be a good matter for a collaborative law process.
Yeah.
And I find in that space, those first encounters with them, I really want to talk to them about what their goals are and what their interests are, and then helping them see that there is a path there. There are many paths there, may not be the best path, but the collaborative law path might be one that really works, where we're all going together along the same path rather than in different directions where, here I am doing this, you get conflict.
Yeah.
Rather, you're going along together, you're listening to each other, you're looking at all the information together, you're seeing everything at the same time.